Hello, Redmond Presbyterian Church. This is Pastor Austin coming to you from my office. I know in our weekly emails, you're used to seeing a letter written from me, just a quick note for the week. And so this week, you're getting a video, a little different change of pace. The reason for this video is I want to talk to you a little bit about our 2023 budget, which you're going to learn about at our Sunday congregational meeting on January 29th, immediately after worship. If you're able to join us, we really want to encourage you to be there. If you're not able to join us, please be sure to review the annual report as it's written and ask questions. But at that meeting, we'll review the budget that session has passed. We'll vote on the pastor's terms of call. We'll elect a new nominating committee. So all those things are coming. And so, like I said, I wanted to give you a heads up about some of the things that we'll be learning on Sunday. Our budget cycle this year has been a bit of a ride, and it's gotten us to a place today where we're headed into 2023 with a plan and some important questions ahead of us. So just a quick review. When session originally passed the initial budget, we were looking at about an $18,000 deficit, which we brought to the congregation, to you all, and said, hey, there's a short gap. Would you help us close that gap? And you did. Thank you so much. You responded, and that $18,000 gap went to almost zero. And so we were looking like a balanced budget. And then, unfortunately, we had a parking lot tenant who we were planning on for 2023, and they canceled their lease in the middle of January, or told us they would be doing that. And so what that meant is now all of a sudden we had a $58,000 deficit budget that we hadn't planned for. So a week ago, your session, your leaders, who you should be very proud of, sat down with that budget and made some important and difficult cuts to the budget, trimmed out things where we didn't want to let go of them, but we knew for at least a year we could make those changes. And so they got that $58,000 deficit down to a $25,000 deficit. And that is the budget that we approved and are heading into the year with. Now, you might wonder, $25,000 deficit budget, that doesn't sound like a great idea. And sure, in a perfect world, it's not. But what we did knowingly was we passed that budget with the idea that that buys us some time to move into this year and have some important conversations and make some longer term changes that we need to make as a church. You might also be thinking, well, can't we just find someone else to rent the parking lot or the stalls in the parking lot and increase our revenue? And the answer to that is we're looking, we're exploring that option, and we'd sure love it if that worked. But the questions that we need to ask as a leadership team and as a church really will continue to be important questions for us to ask. What does our mission as a church look like moving down the road, and how do we continue to be faithful to the work that God is calling us to be? So some of the questions in front of us this coming year that your session will be working on, and they'll be coming to you for your help and your support in these conversations, are questions about who are we as a church today? Who is Redmond Presbyterian Church? Both the members, you all, who are we, our demographic and our energy and our passions and our interests. What makes us who we are today as we are joined together by Christ? And then that also brings up questions about our building, our way of being church together. What does it mean for us to gather for worship, and how might we do that in creative and new ways? We also want to ask questions about our partners in the area and the community. What does it mean for us to do church in different ways as we partner with them? So all of these questions, while they're big and potentially unsettling, are, I keep telling session, these are good work kind of questions. This is the good work that God has called us to do in 2023, I believe. And our hope and our vision is that as we do that, we begin to chart a path for our church moving forward as we move into this new reality post-COVID, this new identity at this point in our church's life, and as we seek always to be faithful to the work that God is calling us to do. Because at the end of the day, that's our hope and our prayer and our goal as a church, is not to simply keep moving along, but to do whatever it is that Christ calls us to do. in our community, in our lives, in our families, and certainly in this church. And so we're grateful to get to do that this year. I invite you to join us in this exploration, these questions we're asking, and to see how when we put all these things on the table, that God meets us in that newness and in that place. And so again, thank you for listening to this video. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Please approach one of your session members. Please come to our congregational meeting on Sunday the 29th, and we look forward to continuing this conversation together. All right. Thanks, everybody.